Susana Vega. Hello there, Susana.
Good morning, Anthony. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
It's a great sunny day, and it was a wonderful art walk. Second Saturday's art walk is so exciting. Thousands and thousands of people. Shout out to Bernice Steinbaum. Fabulous job at the Zadok Gallery. 20 Shades of Grey, which is a sexy show of 70 and younger. 70 years young is how she calls it, to 90, 20 artists. Anyway, it was a great show, and there's a lot of exciting stuff happening in the arts here in Miami, as we well know. And ArtTalk is about bringing you exciting happenings, exciting people making an impact in the arts, and empowering the artists, which is what I'm all about. And with that today, I want to introduce a very young entrepreneur, fabulous third generation McCormick. Welcome, Sean McCormick.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well, I got to tell you, I was hearing the buzz for a while. About 6 months ago, you invited 1,000 people, including the mayor, city mayor of Miami, Regalado, into your beautiful vision that became a reality, the McCormick Place on Southwest 3rd Street.
Correct, yes.
And you could see that building, Anthony, when you're coming through 95. You will see it's got a real famous artist, Gamson. It's a mural with the table, with the flower on the table. And also the centerpiece of the roof, which complements the skyline, is my friend and dear artist, Elizar Delgado, who did a beautiful rooftop rendering of sort of kinetic with the hot pink, the white, the black. And tell me, I hear that the McCormick Place is an idea that becomes a reality. What is your vision? I hear about studios, artists, the buzz in town is the McCormick Place. Tell our audience and our listeners, what is the McCormick Place?
Well, the idea is that we want to bring art and culture and history in an entertaining fashion to downtown Miami. And if you look at downtown today, it's a vastly different place than we've ever known in the last even 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And we've got an amazing population that now lives permanently in downtown. There's around 80,000 people that permanently reside there. Their average age, plus or minus, is around 33 years old, and they make over $100,000 a year in income. And so what I said is a lot of this group was not going to Wynwood to get their art, or maybe they're not getting their culture through the Miami City Ballet or through the New World Symphony. I said, why don't we try to create an avenue right here in downtown that's right in their own backyard that they can come and get this. And so that's when we started activating all those outside murals there in the building there in downtown. And of course with the rooftop we started with Elizar Delgado. And Elizar did a phenomenal job, black and white with a pink pop up there. And then also you mentioned Stephen Gamson. Stephen's got 2 pieces actually hanging on our wall now. He's got the At the Table with a Flower, which I believe is the largest art installation in downtown. And he's also got another one on the east side of the building, which you see coming out of downtown, called Meeting in the Rain. At the centerpiece of our front of the property down in the parking lot, though, is something really special to me, so I was involved in it personally, was Miami International University of Art and Design did a 70-foot by 15-foot black and white mural, again with a pink pop.
That's beautiful.
And so really what that was is that they allowed me to come into the university and kind of co-professor a mural class with Mary Malm, who was the actual professor. And so what we did over 3 weeks, we curated with this class. And these students were really, really energetic. And I say students, I mean, I think the oldest age there in the group was about 45, and the youngest was maybe about 19 or 20. Wow. And so over these 3 weeks, we put together these phenomenal ideas and these iconic images of what downtown and Brickell and the Miami River area should really kind of hearken and call to, and that's where we came up with that piece that's on the front of the building.
I really love the concept that you're doing. And I have to tell you something, putting the students together with your mid-career artists and your master artists too, Gamson, I really think it's wonderful. I think it's where the McCormick Place is leading to, because you have 7 floors, right?
We have a total of 8, yeah.
8 floors, and each floor is projected to be studios and sprawling spaces for artists?
Absolutely. So far that we've got a first floor gallery space, we've got second floor studio space. We're looking to add another floor of studio space on the 3rd floor, as well as we've got a design studio that just moved into our 4th floor, and then of course Elizar Delgado, who's on our 7th floor.
I think it's really amazing. And what I really love is you didn't just stop at your building, but you're committed to the neighborhood and the community. And I know my dear friend, and you met Leanne Lester, right,
Of course.
Anthony, from the Seafair. I know that Leanne is committed to your project as well. I've had her on my show several times, and Leanne is definitely a visionary, the person who's responsible for all the art tents. And luckily,
Looks like he's kind of surprised about that.
No, I'm not.
He's happy.
I'm going to tell you that Leanne has been a breath of fresh air for downtown Miami, and she's been a tremendous, tremendous icon, I think, for the art community in downtown, with the Seafair yacht being docked at the Hotel Intercontinental. She's also the organizer for our First Friday Downtown Gallery Walk. And so now we've got this gallery walk happening in downtown, and it happens on the first Fridays. And we're a part of that. We like to think that we're a cornerstone to where she is there with the Seafair and other galleries that are open in downtown as well.
Now, does Leanne open the Seafair on First Fridays too?
She does, yes, she has.
She does. Okay, that's interesting, because I know her next show is in September, but that's interesting to know. You know, we really have to do something at the Art Experiences, maybe, you know. Also, the Bakehouse opens on First Fridays. Maybe we should just do a whole thing there, because I love the synergy. I know that all the assemblages of these big developers in Wynwood are really bringing these high-end retail stores now, and it gives me this fear of what's going to happen. Where's the responsibility of the developer to keep what really got the buzz going, which is the artist, the bohemian artist, the emerging artist. That's what's so great about Wynwood. And I see them all following the tracks of Elazar Delgado. You know, after 4 years or 5 years in Wynwood, he's now in downtown. Books and Typo from Primary Projects is now in downtown. I mean, on and on. So I really see this movement going downtown, which is really interesting. I know the centerpiece for the stage this Basel will be the PAM opening up, the Perez Art Museum Miami. And with that, I definitely see the McCormick place. I mean, you come from a very long line of McCormicks. Your building was dedicated to your great-grandfather, right?
That's my grandfather. That's
James
correct.
McCormick?
That's correct.
He was the physician to Julia Tuttle?
Well, not Julia, she'd already passed on, but to actually the Tuttle family. He came to Miami in 1922. And coincidentally had found his office on the Julia Tuttle Circle in downtown Miami, a block away from where McCormick Place is now. And that was on 3rd Street and Miami Avenue. And we're at 111 Southwest 3rd Street today. So he had an amazing career, though. He was the 4-time mayor of El Portel here. Raised 11 children, so we're slightly Irish Catholic.
All right, my aunt's listening. She'd be very happy about that.
And he was also the first fight doctor for the city of Miami before, as most people know, who Ferdy Pacheco is, and so Dr. James was his predecessor. So,
wow.
So when he passed away in 1969, the building was bought in 1970 by Ed McCormick, my father, and so it was dedicated to him and his life and his servitude for the city that he loved and took care of.
Now, you're a business realtor developer, right?
That's correct, yes.
And I know you have several parcels of land downtown, very key parcels of land. What is your vision as you're committed to the arts, as I have seen? What do you want to see in your building? What is your ultimate goal for McCormick Place and the surrounding areas?
Ultimately, what I'm doing with the building is what I'm turning it into a Class A creative space. And so about 3 years ago, I had seen the success of Wynwood starting to vet, and I think Wynwood has been a tremendous story. I think it will continue to be a tremendous story. But I also thought that a lot of these artists were going to get a wake-up call, and that they were going to be displaced by rents, and the fact that the 8 credit tenants were going to come. They're going to find the crowd, and that's the same thing that's happened. If you look at the history in Miami, you know, in the 60s, or actually in the 50s, if you talk to people like my father who grew up in here in Miami, you went downtown to Flagler Street. That was where your action was. Then it moved to Coconut Grove in the 60s and 70s. And in the 80s, things started to shift out of the Grove and started going to South Beach. South Beach started to perk a little bit, then it kind of bled into Lincoln Road, and then now you saw a lot of that same coming into Wynwood, and now, well, let's face it, history repeats itself again. Now it's all coming back.
Scary. Now you put it that way, it's absolutely true. I've been here since the 60s, and that's exactly I think the map that I went to and hung out is in that direction. It's kind of like going out here, then a little south and down to the beach and back to the mainland. And I think diversity is part of that problem. People want to have change, they want to see something different, and they get stale. I guess that goes back to Susana's question. What do you think you're going to do to not let Wynwood area get stale, if you will?
That's interesting. I think that Wynwood won't get stale. I think it's good. There's enough outlying parcels. I see a lot of people kind of energizing a lot of these outside areas around 2nd Avenue. So I don't think it will get stale. But I do think it will shift into other areas, and it has to grow. It has to continue to develop. And let's face it, Miami, we're growing at such an exponential rate right now. I mean, I know all of us, having lived here for as long as we have, to see the cranes on the skyline and to have them back again.
Back again, yeah. I remember when I counted 75 cranes. I don't know what year that was, but I think in one year
Probably
I counted 75 cranes. Up in mine to 0. And then now started back again.
I have to tell you, I see Chelsea and Soho is what I see. I really see that happening, and it's so cool to say that because, I have been here since '89, transplanted from New York City. And I've seen a lot. I was with Tony Goldman in the heydays, and a young kid called Kobe Karp, who helped me do my first plants on Ocean Drive. I saw that whole phenomena come. I have been part of the design district, living there as one of the first residential owners since 1994. Seeing what has happened, I predicted it way back, and seeing the reality and the vision happening. I'm very committed to the arts, and I'm so grateful that I did. My company was folded in 2008 with the banks and all the other economy, as we all well know, was affected. And I'm really grateful for that. At that time I wasn't happy, but it gave me a whole new light. And I think that's what happens in the communities. I think when you get this resurgence and renovation, and it gets to a peak like Wynwood, well, you're going to get the big galleries from New York City. You're going to get the big galleries from Soho coming down and testing the waters. And then you're going to get the shift of the bohemian artists, the emerging going into mid-career, going downtown. And you're going to get these wonderful synergies of neighborhoods that hopefully will keep its own characteristics and flair, and it will complement each other. And I'm seeing that a lot. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how many art walks I get invited to. Brickell artwork, Bird Road artwork, Sunset, Coral Gables, Miami Beach, Coconut Grove. I just want to see that the communities really help empower each other. I see McCormick Place committed to that. I really, tip my hat to you. What is your next event next Friday? In June?
We've got June 7th, which is the First Friday Gallery, downtown First Friday Gallery Walk. And so far what we've been doing is we've had the 7th floor open and the 2nd floor open, which is the 7th floor is Eleazar Delgado Studios again, and the 2nd floor are individual studios. We've got a total of 14 artists now at McCormick Place, and so for this next walk that we're going to have here on June 7th, we're going to go ahead and activate the first floor, or reactivate the first floor spaces, which we opened back in September with the Downtown Development Authority's Downtown Art Days. And so we're very excited to kind of have that, and then we'll work through the summer. And as a matter of fact, the DDA, the Downtown Development Authority, is working on their 2nd Art Days, which is coming up here in September. So that will be kind of the next big happening for downtown and art.
How can people find out about McCormick Place? Can you give them your website, your contact information?
Absolutely. Anybody can come to our Facebook page, which is McCormick Place, Downtown Miami. And we've also just started a new web page, which is McCormickPlace-Miami.com.
Sean McCormick, we thank you for young entrepreneurs like you. You're good looking, you're smart, you got brains, and you got lots of culture, and we're happy you're sharing it with the community. Touche to you, my friend. McCormick Place. Look at theartexperiences.com. We're going to add a link to McCormick Place at theartexperiences.com. We'll do something for June 7th for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on the show.
We'll be back after this short break.